The city of Casey in recent years has been driven by steady growth and development, and now it's on the leading edge of something else.
This ordinance lets people know that our culture and our community is a loving culture, and hate won't have a place in the city of Casey.
Last month, Casey became one of roughly a dozen cities in South Carolina to approve a hate crime ordinance.
Well, Council's been talking about wanting to do something to make sure that the citizens know that we care about every section of the community, every group in the community, every person in the community. And when you think about it like that, there's no reason to say no.
While there haven't been any incidents in this community of roughly 14,000 that led to the ordinance, Police Chief Chris Cowan says it was a no-brainer after talking with officials in places like Charleston and Florence that have similar policies.
When it came down to it, it was about telling people we care about you, we care about protecting you, and we care about all of our community.
While the conversation in the riverfront cities seemed to flow easily, critics argue debate about this topic at the State House is more like swimming upstream.
This is a day when we bring attention to the injustices of our government.
Throughout the year at the State House, lawmakers have heard calls to put a statewide hate crime law in place.
This is a day when we sound the alarm that liberty and freedom are under attack.
While a plan to enhance penalties for crimes based on hate has passed in the House, the proposal continues to run into a brick wall in the Senate. It's the very same chamber where the man the hate crime proposal is named after once served.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Emmanuel Church, there's plenty of people shot down here. Please send somebody right away.
Senator Clementa Pinckney was one of 9 black worshipers shot and killed by an avowed white supremacist at historic Mother Emanuel Church back in June 2015. A federal hate crime law sent shooter Dylan Roof to death row. The woman who made that 911 call you just heard, along with other survivors of the massacre, have urged lawmakers to pass a law for years now.
We need a law that will address all these issues. We should never have to go to church and go through what we went through.
While testimony from Polly Shepard and others has led to action in the House, the Senate still hasn't been swayed. Shepard telling decision makers Roof didn't kill her so she could tell people about his hate-fueled attack.
Dylan talked to me specifically. He told me, shut up. He asked me, did I shoot you? And I said, no. He said, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave you here to tell the story.
According to the FBI, there were 70 crimes committed in South Carolina in 2022 motivated by hate or bias. Last November, an incident in Conway led to harassment charges for 2 people after they were accused of burning a cross and using racial slurs to intimidate their black neighbors. The FBI is investigating, and the couple who was targeted has helped ramp up a renewed push for a statewide hate crime law.
My manhood has been challenged, and everything that you could think of has been challenged.
Since that incident, Conway City Council has approved a hate crime resolution. But at the State House, the legislative session ended in May without any kind of law at the state level.
It's disappointing that we have not, due to the Senate, have not been able to pass a hate crime bill, honestly, because I don't think that represents what our state is about, because we do want to stamp out hate in South Carolina.
Last month, the governor did sign into law a plan that recognizes action driven by hate. The measure targets anti-Semitism and will be considered when deciding whether there has been a violation of anti-Jewish discrimination policy or law.
This act today helps define discrimination under our existing laws. It clarifies.
Opponents of a much broader hate crime law have been largely quiet in the Senate. In the past, they've said such a measure equates law enforcement to the thought police, arguing it's dangerous to determine what a person is thinking. There are also arguments that people could be prosecuted simply based on inflammatory speech.
All in favor of a favorable report for the, again, hate crimes bill, raise your right hand, please.
Earlier this year, the Senate Judiciary Committee approved its own hate crimes bill, similar to the one in the House. It was never debated in the full Senate, though, and insiders believe it would pass on the Senate floor if the measure's ever taken up for debate. Until then, the process continues.
I don't know that the hate crimes law that has been debated here defines and clarifies other than introduces uncertainty. And that's the question I think needs to be answered. Everybody, I think, agrees that we want to We don't like hatred. We don't like seeing it. We don't like being the object of it. Don't like being around it.
I think local governments are seeing that the only way to get any kind of hate crime ordinances passed is through local government.
Like decision makers in Casey, who have taken the matter into their own hands, like other cities in the state, to protect the people who live there.
It's also taking into consideration freedom of religion, freedom of speech, all of those things that our country is based off of that we're not going after, we're not interested in that. We are specifically looking at hate. And if you're going to spew hate, if you're going to hate people, that's what we're looking at.
Stay up to date with this story and more. Subscribe to our Watch Fox YouTube page. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to never miss an update.